Okay, so here we are in the bar, and just off to the right here is where the wine closet is situated. So previously, this closet has always been here. It was just a supply closet, I suppose. It had some copper piping, water supply lines running along the back, so I had to work around that when I framed it with the insulating material. So let me go ahead and open it and show you. So this is inside. This wine rack I just got from Kijiji. It was $40. It actually was quite a bit larger, wider, and taller, but I just cut it to size, and as you can see, it fits just to a T. I had to actually hammer this in. Right now, I don't really have a large collection, and actually, only one of these bottles is actually something that would be considered worth cellaring. All of these other ones are daily drinkers, but I just keep them in here, just I guess for the thermal mass to keep the compressor from constantly going on and off. Let me show you here. I haven't covered this up yet, but this is what the whole closet is framed out of this rigid foam, which you just get from Home Depot. What I did was I just put the one layer of the insulating foam, and then I sheathed it with a hot water heater blanket that was R value of about 6. So I have maybe R value of 16 between the two. I just have one LED lighting strip here. I didn't want to add more. It would have been nice, but like they do generate a little bit of heat, so I didn't want to create too much heat in here. We only have it on for aesthetic reasons. We don't have it running all the time, the light. And then the wall covering is actually cedar shingles. The reason I used that was because I did not have the space for anything else. So these are quite thin. They're just like held in by like pretty much tension or friction, I guess. So that's how tight my spacing was. So yeah, it's cedar. It actually it has a really nice smell when you open the closet. It smells like the inside of a sauna a little bit. Just to show you how tight we are on a space in general, though, when I close the door, like the front of the back of the door comes within maybe a half inch of the front of these bottles. So like this could not have been more of a tight fit, but I could not make it any deeper because of the pipes that run along the back. So this is the door. It does need some work. I could probably clean it up a little bit more aesthetically, but basically I didn't do much. The door here, it's not an exterior door, it's an interior hollow core door, so it obviously doesn't have a lot of insulating value. It does have this piece of, I guess, decorative MDF, or I suppose it's printed to look like barn board, but it's not real. That's just for aesthetics. And then on this side, I just sheathed it in some more of that insulating blanket for the hot water heater. So I don't know. In total, this probably has an R value of maybe 8. So not a whole lot, but yeah, I wish it could be better. I wish I could have actually put rigid foam on the back, but I just did not have the space. Let me talk to you more about this porthole. The porthole was a find from antique shop, and I believe it to be maybe genuine. I'm not sure. It looks old. It's super heavy. It has double pane glass. So it is going to be a source as well of heat gain. It's not the greatest in terms of insulating, but like right now I can feel that it's a little bit cold because it's conducting the cold from inside out. Not ideal, but it's for the aesthetics of it. I still wanted to put it in. And you can, when the light is on, it frames these 4 bottles really nicely. And you can actually open it and access the wine cellar. Those 4 bottles, you can take them out through the porthole. Not that I ever would, but you could, There you go. So yeah, that was just something that I thought would be cool. I could have done without it. Probably would have made a bit of a difference in terms of how well insulated this closet is. But it's such a small space that I just didn't think it was, that big of a deal. I weather stripped it here, as well as inside this, I guess the opening. It's all weather stripped, and it's as insulated as I can get it for the moment. So now that the wine closet is built physically, we need a way to cool it, and that's where this thing comes into play. So this is the cooling unit that I just removed from a Vintage Keeper brand wine cabinet, a 240 bottle wine cabinet, and just kind of cut a hole in my wall and shoved it in. It's been working quite well. The only thing though is that the controller on this, I bought it used, seems to be shot. It does cool, however, the controller senses that it's at a lower temperature than it actually is. So the other day it was reading 52 degrees when it was in fact over 60 degrees in here, and it wasn't triggering the cooling. So I did get around that because the compressor does work. It's just the controller. So there's ways around that, and I'll show you how I got around that. But basically this is where the cold air comes out. The hot air comes out here as well as on top of the unit. And over here, oops, next to the wine closet, I have a sliding door. I bought this off of Amazon. It's an Inkbird temperature controller. It is meant more, I guess, for people who are doing fermentation of their, beer or wine or whatever. So it can run a heating appliance and a cooling appliance to maintain a kind of precise temperature range. At this moment, I only have something hooked up to the cooling because I'm not really interested in heating the wine cellar. I'm only interested in cooling it. So this is my set temperature is 53 Fahrenheit. And then I have a cold differential of 6 degrees Fahrenheit. So it can go up to as high as 59 before it starts cooling again. Right now it's on the current temperature is 61.5. So it should be kicking in any moment now. So it looks a bloody mess here, but I will eventually mount this somewhere. I just wanted to make sure it worked before I went and permanently mounted it somewhere. As well, I have a this one here is a Wi-Fi connected temperature and humidity probe, which is, I don't know if you can hear that. It's just kicking in right now. Until I guess cooling mode because it's 61 degrees in there. So that temperature probe here, I also got off Amazon. It's a brand called, I think, EcoWit. And I can check the temperature and humidity from anywhere in the world as long as I have connectivity, which is nice. And the other thing I did hook up that I didn't mention already is this fan up here. It's just a straight up fan, and it's pulling the air, the warm air from above the compressor and venting it out to the open space over here. And that one I also have linked to my Inkbird temperature controller, so that when the compressor goes off and starts throwing off all that hot air above it, because it also vents from the top as I mentioned, that this will pull the hot air that's venting out the top of the compressor and vent it out this way. And I also have a temperature probe up top where the hot air is venting out of the compressor. I have a temperature probe there to ensure that it doesn't go above 80 Fahrenheit, which is above the operating temperature for this particular compressor. So that temperature probe that I have up top is also linked to this little gateway here, so I can also monitor it remotely. So I just wanted to show you that the compressor has been running for about a couple minutes. It started out about, I think, 61.4 Fahrenheit. And now after 2 minutes or so, it's down to 55.1. It'll continue to come down until it reaches 53 and it'll shut off. and then once the temperature hits 59, it'll run again. So my cooling differential is 6 degrees between 53 and 59 Fahrenheit, and I found that the compressor runs about every 45 minutes to keep that, which is not too bad.